everybody, and welcome back to Agada, Portugal, round 5 of the FIA Motocross World Championship and the MXGP of Portugal. Well, after winning the first 4 rounds of the season, defending champion Jorge Prado arrives here in Portugal with a 13-point advantage. Well, that was before the Ram qualifying race. It's now down to 7 points. And it's still Tim Gajser that is hot on his heels. The Spaniard grew up about 4 hours from here, just over the border in northwestern Spain at Lugo, which is where we go in a week's time. But this weekend will very much feel like a home Grand Prix for the Red Bull Gas rider, who's won no fewer than 3 times here in the past. Gajser's only success, though, came in 2019. But the rider with the most wins is Jeffrey Herlings, who desperately needs a win this weekend to get his title aspirations back on track, where after just 4 rounds, the bullet is 55 points off the pace and 4th in the championship. Well, that was, of course, until the qualifying race. He's 9 behind Romain Febvre now. Febvre at 34 off of Gajser. Gajser just 7 off of Prado. The rain starting to fall even more. That cloud is coming this way. It's 18 degrees, and it does feel like 18. It's very humid and muggy out there on track at the moment. The racetrack just over 1,600 meters long, just over a mile. The usual 4 intermediate sectors from the finish line to the end of pit lane. Basically, where you turn right. That is the end of Sector 1. Sector 2 ends over on the left-hand side through that right-hand turn. Sector 3 ends as you turn right back onto the exit of the start straight, and Sector 4 is the finish line where you get your final lap time. Well, as the fans make their voices heard down there, let's take a look at a team report. We're going behind the scenes with MRT Racing Team Beta.
Con il team sono partito nel 2007. Con il team Motard, dove abbiamo vinto 3 mondiali, e poi nel 2011 siamo passati nel motocross, nel mondiale motocross. I piloti di quest'anno abbiamo Ben Watson, che era già presente lo scorso anno, è rimasto con noi, ci troviamo molto bene, un bravo ragazzo, un lavoratore, siamo molto contenti. Poi è arrivato Ivo al posto di Alessandro, e in questo momento ci serve anche per la moto, per finire lo sviluppo, ragazzi che stanno in moto, in sella, che ci diano i feedback importanti, e quindi abbiamo fatto la scelta di Ivo, ci troviamo bene e secondo noi stiamo facendo un buon lavoro.
They have a completely new bike. It's a bike I never ride before, but the best part of Beta is definitely the handling and the chassis. From the first moment I jumped on it, it was so easy to ride and you feel so comfy.
Per noi lo sviluppo ovviamente non si ferma mai. Per noi ancor più perché la moto è giovane, anche se crediamo di essere a un livello importante. Il futuro di Beta è quello di ripetere quello che ha fatto e sta facendo nell'enduro, partire ovviamente con calma e step by step arrivare in cima a poter vincere, e stiamo lavorando per questo.
Yeah, in MXGP, it's the first year that I've had the same team for 2 years. Together with Beta, they picked me up from when I was, almost at my lowest, especially in MXGP. So I was really grateful for that. And from there on, I had like a good relationship with the MRT Racing Team.
I feel really good with everything. It's a good package for me. They follow me. They are really interested to improve on the bike, also improve with me. They give me all the best. So I cannot ask better.
Look at the rain falling down here now. We knew that it was coming. We had our fingers crossed and hoped that it would stay away. but it's been persistent since Tuesday, and it's here to stay, folks. Let's go down to Lisa Leyland. She caught up with the former MX2 Grand Prix winner around here, home hero, Rui Goncalves of Portugal.
Welcome to the start of the first MXGP race of the day, but joining me at the moment on the start, we have a familiar face. It's Rui Goncalves. Rui, we're here at the home GP for you. Nice memories for you coming back, because I know you took your home GP overall in 2009, so it must be nice to be back here.
Yeah, definitely. It's always nice to be here at the home GP, and as you said, I had really good memories on this track, and back to 2009, the crowd was going crazy, and before was the national anthem, and I was like getting goosebumps hearing it, and yeah, as I said, this has been my life, motocross I grew up with, and it's always a pleasure to join you guys. Yeah.
Can I just ask as well, what is going on with the weather? Tell me, this is Portugal, it's not supposed to be like this.
Yes, I got this question so many times this weekend, and yeah, unfortunately the weather is not with us, but yeah, the public is here. We're trying to make it as a good event, and I hope the riders enjoy it. Obviously we cannot control the weather, but I hope everybody goes home safe. Yeah.
I'm sure you've been following the GPs. So in MX2, it's been dominated by Kai de Wolf, MXGP, Jorge Prado. But this weekend, it's definitely kept them honest. How do you see it panning out this weekend?
Yes, definitely. In MX2, as you said, Kai de Wolf has been riding really good, and he's leading. But I think Liam also now is stepping it up. You know, he was injured in the beginning of the season, and we cannot count him out. I think he did really good now in the first moto. It was nice to see. And yeah, Prado came with really fast from US, and looks like things are under control. It might be a little bit of things mixing up now with a little bit of mud and the start, and so yeah, but like I said, I think it's going to be good racing, and I hope everybody enjoys it.
Enjoy your home GP. Thanks, Rui. Good luck to all the guys lining up here on the start. It's time for the first MXGP race of the day.
Yeah, great to see Rui Goncalves here once more, and yeah, what a day that was for him. A wet, miserable day as well in 2009, just as it is now. Who's your money on, folks? Well, Joaquim Rodriguez was the rider who was out on the parade lap earlier on today, of course fresh from his Dakar exploits earlier this year. We had the national anthem as well, sung by a very brave lady up on the podium area. Rain or shine, they build them tough here in Portugal. But with all of that done and dusted, of course, the race meeting and this Grand Prix deemed officially open. And it's been one of those unpredictable ones so far. Let's take a look at what happened in the Ram qualifying race, shall we, from MXGP. A good start was needed, and that's exactly what Jorge Prado got from gate number 2. He closed off the 5:17 of Isaac Gifting, who'd qualified 3rd fastest in the time practice session. He also spun up behind the gate on that JK Racing Yamaha. Bit of a front-end stand-up wheelie there almost for Glenn Koldenoff as he tried to control the power of that Fantic. But it was Prado who led. Gajser ran the outside. Herlings was there in 3rd. The 10 of Valandrum was in 4th. Then to the outside, losing a couple of positions, number 3 of Romain Febvre. Herlings quickly into 2nd. And then as he went to past Jorge Prado into the final corner at the top of the hill on the first lap, those two ran each other wide. Gajser cut back to the inside. He secured a twofer. Went from 3rd to 1st. Herlings already in 2nd. And then Prado 3rd. But he wasn't feeling it, look, legging his way through. Gave 3rd away to Paul's Jonass on the standing construct Honda. And then he had goggle issues, got caught and passed there as Gajser continued to lead. Herlings there in 2nd, Febvre 3rd. Gajser making it look pretty easy. We had very, very challenging conditions on Saturday. It's going to be equally as bad probably come the end of the day today, but it was a dry track to start with, so the ground was a lot looser. But the race line going down past pit lane, very, very narrow come the end of the day, because as you can see just under the arm there, very wet on that side, wet close to this side. All of that wetness was being dispersed out throughout the course of the day. made it very difficult to pass. That was the first time Jorge Prado started to signal to his crew that he needed goggles, but he never came in. They were ready for them, and I spoke to Davide Di Carli about that this morning, and as of course Jonass went down, he eventually came home in 5th, but he did pick himself up from that 4th down to 8th to get 5th by the time the flag fell. And that was Bonacorsi, the new boy in MXGP, just running into the side of Jonass as he corrected himself. This was Jonass going past Jorge Prado, who decided on that moment, look, can't get across the rut. Koldenoff having an issue as well. Koldenoff will go to the line in 6th. Jeremy Seewer getting lapped by his teammate Romain Febvre, momentarily held him up, but Febvre was already too far off of Herlings at that point anyway. But look how challenging the racetrack is, and was at the end of the qualifying race. Herlings did try a charge late on, but it wasn't enough to stop Tim Gajser taking his 2nd pole of the season. Herlings 2nd, Febvre 3rd, Valana 4th, Jonass 5th. A sea of umbrellas. How's the view down there from the bank-in, folks? Jeremy Seewer just having a moment, sorting himself out. They've come in from their sighting lap. Here's how the riders line up then ahead of MXGP Race 1 and 2 later on today. Tim Gajser on pole for the 2nd time this year for Team HRC, ahead of Jeffrey Herlings and the Red Bull KTM. The factory Kawasaki Racing Team of Romain Febvre 3rd, and the Monster Energy Yamaha of Calvin Valana in 4th. Jonass on the standing construct Honda 5th. The Fantic factory racing machine of Koldenoff, then Prado's Red Bull Gas, and Alvin Osland on the JWR Honda. Good quality for him ahead of Isaac Gifting on the JK Racing Yamaha, and then the Debach Yamaha of Benoit Paturel. Then Guadagnini for Nissan Husqvarna. Good to have Guada back. Bonacorsi, Ben Watson for Beta, and then Cornelius, Tondel, the rest of the riders, Hawkmo, Spies, and the rest, as you can see. We're going to the line in 17th place. Tim Gajser's mechanic helps him to the bike there, but the mechanic can't step in front of the bar that's behind there, which is what the mesh backs up to, so they can lift it and drop it from a distance. That's exactly what they're doing there. Clean rubber going down onto a wet, muddy, meshy grate. But psychologically, it will feel like an advantage, but then I wouldn't be surprised if some riders start to spin up that rear wheel on that mesh just to try and maybe generate a little bit of heat. Does that work as well? Who knows? Tim Gajser, Team HRC, started the weekend 13 points down on Jorge Prado. He goes into race 1 7 points behind the number 1, Jeffrey Herlings. 4th in the championship, 9 behind Romain Febvre. And Romain Febvre here knows he's got to dig in deep this weekend, doesn't mind riding the mug. So can the Kawasaki rider come away with a victory here this weekend? Calvin Valana and Monster Energy Yamaha, 4th in the Ram qualifying race. Started outside the top 10, got up to 4th just after half distance. So obviously enjoying the conditions yesterday. Different conditions today though. There's your number 1, Jorge Prado. I asked Davide Di Carli before the practice session this morning, why didn't he come in for the goggles? And he said, well, it's a difficult decision to make. Plus, did you see how long and how deep those ruts were? He couldn't get across to go into the goggle lane. But something that he will learn from, no doubt. Paul Jonass, standing construct Honda, up and down, up to 4th, down to 8th, back to 5th. He'll be hoping for better in race 1 and race 2. Glenn Koldenoff, another rider who was up to 5th, lost a couple of positions, came back to 6th. Brian Bogas was his teammate in race 1, of course 4th for a few laps before going out the front door. But he will be lining up for race 2, but in 25th place. Back of the grid, getting cleared. We are almost under starters' orders. 30 minutes plus 2 laps. Herlings and Gajser and Febvre just to the right of the bullet. But it's Gajser in gate 1, Herlings 2, Febvre 3. Valandren there. There is Brian Bogers pushing his bike to the grid. Ito is mechanic there, just making sure everything's good. And last words of encouragement as the number 60 there as well, Anton Nagy on the JK Racing Yamaha from Sweden. The Fly Racing 15-second border, Mr. Ingo Parch there, our FIM race director. Getting ready to bring this thing to a start. 5-second board turns. Who will it be that grabs that very, very important foxhole shot this time around? Febvre with a good jump, but so too Tim Gajser. Initially it looked like he was slow to get away. Prado to the outside. Gajser leads, Febvre second. Herlings up the inside of Jonass. Jonass squeezing him though as Prado loses 2 more positions. He's 5th down the first hill. Koldenhoff right there with him in 6th. Gajser with his first foxhole shot of the campaign. Look at these two, just as it was so many times in the past. But Herlings digging deep just to stay in that second position ahead of the Frenchman. What can Prado bring to the table this time around? Gajser goes defensive, goes to the inside. Prado closes the door on Jonass as Febvre looks back to defend his own line in 3rd place. Look at the amount of world titles there. 14 world titles, 15 between the first 5 riders as Herlings, decisive on the opening lap, closes down Gajser at the top of the hill. Herlings leads. Gajser coming back for more though. He's going to run it in hot. Be nice, boys, it's the opening lap. Don't throw it all away. Almost off the side of the track there, Jeffrey Herlings. As Gajser applies the pressure. Again, that outside line was working well in the MX2 race, and it would have worked for Gajser there had Herlings not kind of thought outside of the box there and just closed him off on the descent. Febvre being left behind on this opening lap at the moment. Prado also in 4th place. And Gajser knows he has the perfect opportunity to strike. 7 points between him and the championship leader, Jorge Prado. The rain continues to fall, and it will get harder as this race goes on, and so too will the track conditions. Again, a little untidy through there for Herlings, and he may pay the price here. He's going to have to keep Gajser to the outside of him. Look how hard the Slovenian is working hard to find a way by. Fantastic racing at the sharp end here, but look at the rain. This one is anybody's. Borgmo down in 24th at the moment. Not a good start for the Honda SR rider. But Herlings a 2:08.3. Gajser, despite his efforts, a 2:10.7, separated by 1.3 seconds at the end of that first lap. These ruts are going to get longer, deeper, more difficult to manage. It's going to be an absolute quagmire out there. It's certainly going to be the survival of the fittest. Febvre in 3rd, Prado 4th, Jonass 5th, Koldenhoff is in 6th, Guadagnini in 7th place. Welcome back to MXGP, Mattia Guadagnini and the Nissan Husqvarna crew. Valandren 8th, Bonacorsi up to 9th, and Gifting 10th. Bonacorsi on his debut in MXGP. Watch this, a lap ago. He knew he couldn't stay behind Gajser for too long. Took a look across, knew exactly where he was, closed him up at the top of the hill. Herlings, your leader. Goggles are going to be an issue. Who throws them off soonest? Who uses the goggle lane? Oh, Gajser coming back. He gets better drive up and over that step, and Febvre is not out of it yet either. Febvre closing on both of these two ahead of him. First in his line of sight is going to be the 2:43 of Tim Gajser. What makes this racetrack particularly tricky is, yes, it's got a sandy base, but it's got a hard clay base underneath it, but those ruts are long and sticky. They're high and they're quite solid as well. So you can't just go from one side of the track to the other to set up a pass. You get into a rut, you get locked in, you get loaded, and then from there you hope that you don't just push too hard and tip over in the opposite direction. Prado, 2.5 seconds behind. He's there at the top of the hill. Gajser gets the distance, Herlings unable to. And the bullet knows that the Slovenian is there. Can Tiga find a way around the outside? He's going for it. Can't quite find a way through. How much water is on the track there on the run towards the finish line as well. Febvre watching this going, you know what, I'm here ready. With the dustpan and brush, I'm ready to sweep up the pieces, because there may be pieces between these two to sweep up. Look, again, Herlings tries to close him off. Gajser goes through on lap 3. 2 5-time world champions going bar to bar. It's the first time we've seen it so far this year. Herlings still there in front. 2:38. This championship is coming alive, and Prado is down on the run towards the finish line. And he will have to come in for new gloves, surely, and maybe even goggles. Is he hurt, though? Did he get cross-rutted on the run down towards the finish line? He's not going to be in 4th place any longer, and we will have a new championship leader at the end of this race, and it will be, or at the end of this lap, and it will be Tim Gajser. Watch this here, cross-rutted. Completely wrong, down on his left shoulder. Will there be implications after that? Again, showing a whole bike to Gajser on the way through, but he's worked that line so many times, outside, inside, cut back. Herlings has the commanding line, though, in the next right-hander. So it's a dramatic first race, this one, for sure. And possibly the best race of the season so far. Yeah, as predicted, goggles. Want to come in for gloves as well. You've still got 22 minutes plus 2 laps. Yeah, change your gloves as well. A frustrating race. Look at the water laying in the track now in those ruts. Advantage the rider in front, whatever position you may be in, because as soon as you go through, splash, goggles get roosted. And Febvre already feeling the force of the water in the ruts, possibly. Can't get close enough to Gajser. He's dropped back already. 3.5 seconds adrift of the Slovenian. The danger now is going into those holes, going into those ruts, the water, getting into the electrics. The mechanics do a great job of protecting everything that they can in these kind of conditions. But also going in, not knowing how deep one of those holes is. Taking on too much water, possibly. But it's just sitting there on track. I was told yesterday, wow, from one lap to the next, look at that. I was told maybe 27 millimetres of water due to fall today. We've been lucky so far, but we're not so lucky now. But Gajser, what a line he found through there, as Herlings constantly pulling at that roll-off toggle on the left side of his goggle. And again, just legging his way through. Heart in the mouth for both these guys. Herlings as he tries to stay in front. Gajser as he tries to stay on 2 wheels and chase the lead. And Febvre back there again, look, right on the rear wheel of Gajser. The first 3 pretty much in the same corner. 3 seconds separating the first 3. Wave yellows. Normally wheels on the ground. I don't think you can not jump there, though, can you? Because of the approach there. Anyway, shoot, it was that fell at the top of the hill. There he is. We have a very long 19 minutes plus 2 laps ahead of us. Those ruts getting longer, deeper, the rain falling even harder. And the thing is, as a rider, you try to stick to that same line, don't you? You go, this one is working nice. A bit of a kick there for Gajser. You stick to that one trusted line, and then sometimes you get caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. Do I venture for something else, because this one no longer feels like it's working okay? Herlings going for the safety of the outsides, a bit more momentum. You haven't got that through that turn like Gajser had. He still favours this outside, and Gajser's followed him through this time around. Prado, meanwhile, is down and out of the points in 23rd place after his pit stop and his crash prior to it. Oh, Gajser! Whoa, how deep was that? I was wondering how deep it was when he ran off, because you have no clue. Watch here, it just looks like a big ball of mud. Now, fortunately, it was hard enough that it didn't just swallow up the front end and chuck him out the front door. He's still getting the distance on the finish line jump, isn't he? Factory KTM, factory Honda. 10 world titles, 5 apiece for your race leader, Herlings, and the man chasing him down, Tim Gajser. Earning their corn today, absolutely no doubt about it. Back marker needs to be mindful. The 71 of Spies doing his best to stay out of the way. Leader's already coming through. Didn't realise that Herlings was there. Spies on the KTM Cossack machine. And again, even though the blue flags are waving, he's trying to avoid the roost of Herlings. Looking down, he can hear something to his outside. And it was the flash of red that was Gajser. Although you wouldn't know that. Is their pass going to happen this time around? He doesn't cut back to the inside. Herlings loses out. Gajser, your new leader, on lap 6. Can he stay there? Herlings frantically pulling at his goggles. Will he just toss them aside? But it's Gajser who leads the way. The 60 of Anton Nagy there. Going a lap down, he's out of the points anyway. Right, Herlings has to regroup. Febvre, yeah, Herlings looking over his shoulder, sees the flash of green and says, right, I can't afford to lose too many points. Gajser a little bit wayward through there. Drifted across to the left. Waved yellows through this next left-hander. Rider down. 128, Monticelli possibly. A decisive Grand Prix. We knew that coming into this weekend. As soon as we heard about the weather conditions, yes, we can say it's a great leveler. But when you get here and the pressure is on, it's how you deal with it. That is the question. Here is the number 1 of Jorge Prado. He is up into 21st place at the moment. That is no points for the number 1 right now. And with Gajser leading the way on 25 points, and Prado with no points, we have a massive point swing. All of a sudden, Gajser goes from being 7 points down to 15 points clear at the head of the field. In fact, Gajser now is just corrected. 18 points, so 241 and 223. What a turnaround. Things have settled down. We're all taking a breather here. We've still got 14.5 minutes plus 2 to go, though. Right, Tim Gajser through here. He tried going wide and cut him back. He tried it, 2-3 times. This time, he changed tack. He's got good drive through the waves. As Herlings starts braking, Gajser continues that push to the outside. Herlings was like, okay, he's going to come back behind me. No, he kept it around the outside this time around, and this time the pass was successful for Gajser. 161 here, Alvin Oslin. He's just outside of the points at the moment for JWR Honda. I've seen videos on Gajser's Instagram page. He trains in conditions like this in the winter on his own track. Blue flag there for the Swede. This is where it gets precarious now. Gajser still has his goggles on, so he's got the visibility right there. It's still working for him, and it's amazing, you know, when you put a pair of goggles on and you have the luxury of a full lens, and then you say, right, here's a pair of goggles that are already covered in mud with a roll-off strip, and you look through it and you say, how do you see from that? Actually, when you're in a race situation, because your senses are so heightened, your focus is not on the mud around the lens, it's still on everything ahead of you, and you still feel in that respect that you have a full lens of visibility. It's strange. Is there a reply here for Jeffrey Herlings? See, how unpredictable is that water? Land on that downside, you're hoping it's not too deep. The ideal way would be to have the front a little bit lighter, because you're not going to see any hidden rocks in there, any hidden holes. Here's Febvre. I was talking to Petar Petrov, who has his own team in MX2 at the moment, and former Grand Prix racer in MX2, MXGP. The Bulgarian was saying he remembers a mudder here. It was probably when he was on factory Suzuki at the time, so probably around 11, 12 or 13, 12 or 13. And he said, it was so muddy, I threw my kit in the bin. And I wonder how many riders today will be thinking the same when they get back. Well, there's no point sticking that through the wash. Herlings under attack here from Febvre. You wonder why they don't use the outside line, but when you see them come down into that next right-hander off the drop-off, there's a couple of long, horrible ruts there that look unpredictable. That's probably the reason why. It's a tight to entry into that corner as well, which you don't need. You want the momentum, which is why they're still sticking to inside tight left, open it up down through the middle into a more open right-hander. Oh, Herlings doubling down there nicely. Not throwing any caution to the wind. The gap between Gajser and Herlings, 4.18 seconds. Febvre being held up slightly here by a back marker. 92 of Valentin Guillot. And you know what? Tim Gajser, sooner rather than later, will be on to Jorge Prado, who is in 20th position. We've just lapped Valentin Guillot in 21st place. Here's Jeremy Seawer. He is in 9th place. Are we going to see Prado lapped by Gajser before the end of the race here? That is, and if Gajser does see the number one, what will be going through his mind at that time? How far further up the track? Well, Guillot was only 10.9 seconds behind Prado. Prado's lap time at 2:46, Gajser at 2:33. But Jeremy Seawer there, and here is Jorge Prado. So the number one, he's going to be getting a blue flag on lap 8. Gajser has already gone through. Jeffrey Herlings about to lap the Red Bull Gas rider. There is Gajser. And Jorge Prado having an absolute nightmare this weekend as Herlings goes through as well. A massive swing in the title chase. Febvre will be only 22 points behind the defending champion. .326, Josh Gilbert. He's in 19th position. The Gabriel SS24 rider had an issue in the qualifying race. Team decided to pull him out rather than destroy the engine. So good to see him back out on track in 18th place. Right, Herlings does try that outside-inside combination this time around. He's only 1.9 seconds behind Gajser. Gajser ahead of him at the top of the hill. Is there another twist in this story of race one? Because Herlings looks like he's comfortable with the conditions, more so than the race leader, Tim Gajser, who has won in all conditions. He's won 5 titles. But are the nerves starting to creep in, knowing that he can be the new championship leader after this race, at the end of this weekend. There is still another race to run, don't forget. But you know, the track crew have got a massive job on to try and tidy things up ahead of MX2 Race 2. Is it even possible? Three retirements so far. Max Spies, Ivo Monticelli and Luis Otero, the Portuguese rider. Adam Sterry giving them a lot of room to work with there a moment ago as well, the 811. Apologies for our loss of microphones over on this side of the racetrack. There we go. Oh, and Herlings has an issue. His bike has stopped, he can't get going. Prado unlaps himself. And Harry Norton and the crew can't believe it down there either. And Jeffrey Herlings out of the race on lap 9. He was closing in on Gajser. Has he fried a clutch? It could be anything, you never know. But Jeffrey Herlings needed a win this weekend, needed a good result at the very least, just to keep things on track. He was 55 points down coming into this weekend, don't forget. And he is going to lose touch with the leaders as Tim Edberg off the side of the track for JM Honda in 16th place. So Gajser now enjoys a 7-second advantage over Romain Febvre. Here is the race leader, and Jeremy Seawer has come to a stop as well from 8th place. Herlings is fuming. The Honda boys, they're loving it down there in pit lane. No time to smile yet, though. All they can do is sit and wait. These conditions, not just a leveler, they're a game changer. They throw up so many different possibilities. And Herlings walks back disconsolately. His race is done. Is that the championship done as well for the Bullet? Still a long way to go, though. Somehow he's got to get himself cleaned up, get himself in the right frame of mind and come back swinging for race 2. I'd normally ask, would there be a race 2 given the conditions of the racetrack? That's down to the track crew and the weather, unfortunately. For now, we will assume there is. And Tim Gajser, in this kind of in this frame of mind, will be saying, you know what, bring it on, bring it on. Loving it. Track's dry in my opinion. 5.6 seconds clear of Febvre though. So Febvre lurking. A gap going out, back and out, isn't it? Look, 41 for 40.3, the split to sector 1. Almost identical in sector 2, give or take 2 or 3 tenths. 44.7, 44.4, 35.7, 34.5. All of a sudden, 4.3 now the gap. Can't afford to switch off, but stays where he is. If he brings it home, anything above 4th place, he'll be the championship leader. Although Prado is now up into 7th, isn't he? Up into 17th. So there's Herlings walking back. Here's why. Went from 2nd to 1st at the start of the race with this decisive move on Gajser. Rain started to fall. He led for the first 6 laps. Gajser was pushing, harassing and hounding him until he went through on lap 7. Then there was a drop back for Herlings. But before his engine went and the bike stopped, whatever the problem was, he was under attack here. Gajser found his way past at about the 3rd time of asking, and then just a moment ago, the Bullet was out of 2nd place. And it's Gajser who continues to lead with just under 4 minutes plus 2 to go. Febvre closing in, 3.4 seconds adrift as they hit the top part of the circuit through that wave section. It's just, well, it's literally a wave section. Every time they go in between those mounds of dirt, they are into a lot of water, and Gajser running into trouble. Febvre closing in. He believes he can win this one. There is the number 3, tucking to the inside. Enduro ways through to the inside. Gajser stays to the outside. Prado up into 17th place. Gajser on 2.41 now. Cornelius Tondel going a lap down as Gajser comes through. Febvre just losing a little bit of ground there in that exchange with the back marker. So the gap down to 14 points now. But it's Gajser, the new championship leader. Prado started the weekend 13 points clear, 7 going into this first race after the ramp qualifying race, where Gajser was victorious and Prado had to settle for 7th place. Prado was running in 4th position until he fell on the run towards the finish line. He's been in for a pit stop. Got fresh goggles, fresh gloves. He's got Alvin Osland about 3.5 seconds ahead of him. So this one isn't done yet. Look how close it is as they run up. 11 laps complete. We're on lap 12. Gajser has cleared the back marker who falls. Look at that line there of Romain Febvre. Nice and firm to the outside. All that dirt just being washed away. But look at the length of that rut. It's amazing. These bikes are still out there on track, but that is a testament as well, not just to the factory bike, but the level of the production bike that these bikes are based on nowadays. This is the first mudder of the season, and a mistake there at the top of the hill for Febvre. He looks up, he sees Gajser getting away from him as he goes left. The bike tips right, just pushing too hard in that left-hander. Got it all to do again. Oh, he loses both wheels as well. Look how heavy it is as well between those two steps. And the rain falling as hard as it has done when you've got no goggles pings your eyeballs to pieces. Febvre at the top of the hill. He has lost a lot of time. 5 seconds now, the gap between him and Gajser ahead of this rider here. So Gajser leads, Febvre second, Jonass third. What a fantastic ride for the standing construct Honda. Koldenhoff fourth, Bonacorsi is in 5th place. The lead Monster Energy Yamaha rider. Bogas for Fantic is 6th, so both the factory riders are right there in 4th and 6th. Louis Vosters, the team boss, will be over the moon with that. Watson for MRT Racing Beta is in 7th position. One of his best rides in the Premier class. Here's Prado. He's off the side of the track. He's come back into pit lane. So Prado, is his race done? Has he decided to throw in the towel, or is he going back out? They'll tell him you're in the points. And he needs the points. Paturel is in 8th place. Bogas up to 5th, Bonacorsi down to 6th. Guadagnini 9 on his return, and Tondel in 10th place. Where are the leaders going to lap up to? Oh, look how tricky that is down on the descent for Romain Febvre. Still looking up, hoping for a glimpse of Tim Gajser. Not going to come. He's 7 seconds further up the track. Gajser up and over the finish line. The 2-lap board is out. 2 minutes 49.7 the lap time last time around for Tim Gajser. Oh, you need a submarine there, Tim. The fastest lap was Jeffrey Herlings, 2:08.3 on lap 1. 40 seconds slower, but that is not a surprise, is it? Oh, bit of a moment there for Tim. Bottom of the hill. Upper body strength, all-round fitness. This is why, in these kind of conditions, wrestling a 110-kilo motorcycle, plus mud, plus ruts, plus unpredictable conditions, at speed, this is why this is the toughest sport in the world, folks. There is so much going on. Bike moving left, right. Still jumping, navigating those ruts. Nervous moments for Gajser as he edges closer to the checkered flag. Febvre's lap last time around, 2:54.2. The gap is down to 3.8. All of a sudden, Febvre is coming back for more with a lap and a bit to go. Can he still win this race? Snatch the victory from Gajser in the dying moments of the race. There's a back marker. The next rider through should be Romain Febvre over on the left-hand side. But it's gone back out to 5 seconds. He had it down briefly. Now Gajser decides to throw away the goggles. The fans the other side of the fence going, if only. There's a souvenir there for somebody, probably the track marshal, to be fair. Kept his goggles on for as long as possible, Tim Gajser. And as he approaches the one-lap board, finally, he has full visibility once again. The track crew have an absolutely monumental task ahead of them, ahead of race 2. Gajser downhill for the penultimate time, over the finish line jump, into the final lap. It has been an absolute slugfest here at Mudfest 2024 in Portugal. How deep is this rut? We saw it last time around. Oh, it's horrendous. A nervous look over the shoulder there from Gajser. He felt that he was getting dragged back into the swamp. The fans still on their feet, appreciative of the efforts, not just of Gajser and Febvre, but everybody else out there. Look at that. There's a race in England called the Wild and Woolly. It normally happens on Boxing Day in Northamptonshire. This is reminiscent of that. 4.5 seconds. I would like to say Gajser enjoys over Romain Febvre, but as you can see from the conditions, it is not over until it is over. The focus is absolutely immense. Guadagnini, Mattia Guadagnini out of 9th place. The Nastran Husqvarna rider saying, yep, time out, it's all done. Not the way he wanted his return to racing to end. Prado still circulating. He's in 16th at the moment. He will pick up another place at the expense of Guadagnini. That'll put him 15th. We'll do the maths in a moment when the race is over. But Tim Gajser still 4.5 seconds clear of Romain Febvre. Who is he approaching here? Wow. If a picture could tell a story, I think we just had it right there. Was that Febvre going through? I think it was. No, here's Gajser. So Tim Gajser then a handful of corners away from taking victory here for the second time this year. An absolute battle of survival. The 991 of Shu yields as Gajser comes through. Out of the final turn, Tim Gajser, if he can get through the ruts here, and he does so, Gajser wins race 1 in Portugal, his second win of the season. Wow, that was tough going, and he knows that he will be the new championship leader going into race 2. Somebody is struggling out there to get that bike up the hill or out of a corner, but Tim Gajser limps his way home. Don't worry about that stuff hanging. Even trying to get off the track is a task. But Honda all smiles as Gajser wins race 1 and is the new championship leader heading into race 2. And they're joking. He almost crashed there as he pulled off the track. Absolutely unbelievable. We still are expecting riders to come through. Who's that on the line? Jonass is up to second. Where's Febvre gone? We're waiting for Febvre to come through. Another twist in the tail. Well, that rider, did he go? I don't think he went high enough to break the beam. So Gajser, Jonass, Febvre has gone through in third. A 1:21 in sector 4 for Romain Febvre. So a massive mistake somewhere then for the Frenchman. There will be some head scratching going on in between races. I'm waiting to see where Prado crossed the line. At the moment, he is 16th. There's Romain Febvre shaking his head. Has he crossed? No, yeah, he has. He's at 14. In fact, he rejoins the race. Oh no, that was just coming off the track. So he crossed the line in third. So he realised he's lost a position. You see the frustration. Jonass goes through in second, Febvre third. And that is pretty much all we have. We have Watson having done 13 laps. He's classified in 7th place ahead of Pansar, Horgmo, Osland, Tondale, Sterry with 12th, Edberg 13th, Prado 14th then. He's just been told that he's enough over the line. Anyway, Lisa is with our winner, Tim Gajser. Looked like easy stuff, didn't it, Tim?
Tim Gajser, what a race. Nice battle with Jeffrey there at the start. You got the better of him in the end. You also got the championship lead. Just tell us, how was that race for you?
Incredible. I mean, like, when we started, it was not that bad, but then starts to fall. I mean, the rain starts to fall, and I knew that on the beginning I was leading. I take a whole shot, but then Jeffrey was really aggressive in the beginning because everybody want to be in front, you know. It was not easy to ride behind when you get roosted and everything. So I was pushing on the beginning, trying to make a pass on him a couple of times. Then I managed to do that, and then I was just riding easy, you know. Like, I think it was just the point that you came around, you know, because it was so deep, the ruts were so deep, and yeah, I'm glad that I won that one.
Great job, thanks Tim.
Tim Gajser, the new championship leader after race 1 here in a very, very muddy Portugal at Águeda. We will try and bring you some highlights of that first race, I'm sure we will. And there is a lot to dissect, but Tim Gajser takes his second race win of the season. His 86th career victory. And with it, he takes the championship lead as well. What a race. Maybe didn't look great on TV, but it had a lot in it, especially at the sharp end in terms of the championship. Take a look at the highlights of that race, shall we, before we go anywhere else. A good start was needed. That's exactly what Tim Gajser got. Romain Febvre was in there as well. So too PJ Paul's Jonass on the number 41, standing construct Honda. Herlings up the inside, try to go past the Latvian. Prado to the outside emerged in 5th place, but it was Gajser from Febvre. Herlings quickly into 3rd, going by Jonass at the bottom of the hill. And then quickly into 2nd, going past Febvre. Jeffrey Herlings was in no mood for hanging around. He scythed his way up the inside of Gajser on the opening lap. Looked across, knew exactly where he was, shut the door in the Slovenian's face. The rain started to fall. Then, this is Gajser going for Herlings. Thought he'd found his way past. They banged bars, the 2 5-time world champions. Herlings, though, maintained the lead. Then Prado fell from 4th place, and that would have championship title consequences. He came in for goggles and eventually gloves. He re-emerged, shaking his head. He was down in about 25th place. He eventually came back to 15th. Meanwhile, after 2 or 3 attempts in this same corner, Tim Gajser, who'd been going wide and cutting back up the inside, decided to change tack. He went round the outside. And then, after taking the lead, 2 or 3 laps later, Herlings was out of the race and out of 2nd place. They couldn't believe it, he couldn't believe it, nor could we, because we were having an absolute grandstand finale there, because he was just closing in on Tim Gajser for another crack at the lead. Seawer then went out of 8th place. Prado came in again for more goggles. When he did emerge, there was a couple of riders didn't finish. He was classified as 14th in the end. But it was Tim Gajser who crossed the line to win race 1 by 43 seconds in the end, because Romain Febvre went missing on the final lap. Paul's Jonass was given 2nd place. Here's the results as we have them then. Gajser from Jonass, a Honda 1-2. It's been a while since we said that. Febvre 3rd on the Kawasaki. Koldenoff and Fantic with both riders in there in the top 5. Koldenoff 4th, Bogus 5th, and Bonacorsi in his first ever race in MXGP for Yamaha, picking up 6th ahead of Ben Watson on the Beta, 7th, and Gifting 8th of Sweden. 9th for Jan Panzer, and 10th, Kevin Horgmo. Osland, Tondel, Sterry, Edberg, and Prado 15th there, but just before we had that graphic, he was showing as 14th place because Pacharel and Guadagnini dropped down the leaderboard. So I have it that he is 11 points clear, but we will do all of that before race 2 starts, just to be sure. Anyway, the foxhole shot, Tim Gajser for the first time this year. He eventually turned it into a race 1 victory. Tim Gajser, Team HRC, then gets his first black plate, 2nd race win. Will he be taking the championship leader's red plate at the end of it all as well, though? Prado currently holds it at the moment officially, because we don't have a 2nd race result yet. Take a look at some of the best moments, shall we? Not a pretty race, but don't tell Tim Gajser that. He's the new championship leader. We'll be back in just under an hour with more from Portugal here in Agada. MX2, just around the corner, hopefully.